It's Wednesday, the 10th of December from the MEN newsroom. This is Channel M's Lunchtime News, and these are today's headlines. A mum's due in court after the stabbing of a baby and toddler in Cheetham Hill last month. Also this lunchtime, condoms for children as young as 13 without their parents knowing.
Well, it's probably not a bad idea with some of the girls around here. I know my daughter knows girls that are having sex at that kind of age.
And Santa swaps his sleigh for an Aria helicopter.
It's a big occasion for all the children. They get really excited about it and they really enjoy looking forward to the helicopter landing and Santa arriving.
Good afternoon, I'm Ben Bland. First this lunchtime, children in Manchester as young as 13 are being offered free condoms at school without their parents' knowledge. The council says it's helping to reduce the high rate of teenage pregnancies in the city, but critics say it encourages young people to become sexually active. Here's Nina Warhurst.
All non-faith secondary schools in the borough of Manchester have agreed to let nurses hand out contraceptives and talk about sex to children as young as 13. It is, the council says, a practical move to deal with a startling reality. Figures which compare teen pregnancy rates in 1998 and 2006 show a rise from 61.3 in every 1,000 to 67, despite the fact that the council was told to cut that figure by half 10 years ago. So that makes Manchester's rate 50% higher than the English average, but is offering condoms to 13-year-olds the solution. The council says that each case is judged on an individual basis and that parents were consulted before the scheme was introduced. But parents aren't told if their child has asked for contraception, and in principle, this scheme could be rolled out to children as young as 11 and 12, although evidence of sexual activity at that age would spark an investigation. These pupils I spoke to in North Manchester said though they weren't sexually active, they knew they could get condoms from family planning clinics and that the availability of them in school wasn't necessary, and parents' response was mixed.
It may make some people who might not have sex at a young age maybe try if they're having access to contraception.
Well, it's probably not a bad idea with some of the girls around here. I know my daughter knows girls that are having sex at that kind of age.
Yeah, it's way too young. Something needs to be done about it.
The kids are on the streets doing it anyway, aren't they? So they don't want them catching diseases.
So you think it's a good idea?
Well, yeah, but not from the age of 13. I think that's a bit inappropriate, isn't it? 13 years of age.
But the council says that it is appropriate and that it's working. They say the latest figures show a fall in the number of teen conceptions, though with an average of 560 a year, there's still a long way to go. Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
The mother of a baby and toddler found stabbed to death at their Cheetham Hill home is due in court, charged with their murders this morning. 21-year-old Jael Mullings of Kilmington Drive is due at Manchester Magistrates. It follows the deaths of 2-year-old Romario Mullings Sewell and his 3-month-old brother Delano, who were found stabbed at a house on Kilmington Drive on Wednesday, the 12th of November. We'll have more on that as we get it. A cordon is still in place around a street in Levenshume where a man was shot in the leg last night. The victim, who police tell us is an adult, was hit in the leg on Chapel Street at around 10 to 6. He's being treated in hospital, but his injuries are not thought to be life-threatening. Police are now speaking to people nearby, asking if they saw anything. John Prescott is the latest person to get involved in the debate about whether or not Manchester should say yes or no to plans for a congestion charge. The former Deputy Prime Minister says backing the idea would be common sense for the health and economy of a great European city. The postal ballot closes at 10 p.m. tomorrow night. We told you yesterday how just under 2/3 of ballots have yet to be returned. We've been speaking to an expert in urban living who says the chances are lots of people haven't yet made up their minds.
Voter apathy is not necessarily the case. I think a lot of people generally haven't made their minds up yet. They really can't decide which way to go, and I think it'll be interesting to see if that turnout picks up over the next couple of days. People like myself, I own a car, but I use the train to get into work. I'm still paying the tax and insurance on the car. My wife uses the car to get to work. I'll benefit through improved investment on my line, one of the most overcrowded in the country. I mean, I'll get extra carriages, but that's not going to help the family. The families still will have to pay the congestion charge in some way.
And if you are a late decider, special ballot boxes are being set up across Greater Manchester so you can deliver your vote in person tomorrow. Here's a list of where they'll be in each borough. Now, it doesn't matter where you live, you can put your vote in any of those ballot boxes. So, for example, if you're from Bolton but commute into Salford, you could use any of the collection points in Salford or indeed anywhere else that you happen to be passing. The deadline for your votes to be in is 10 p.m. on Thursday night. Special arrangements have also been made with Royal Mail to collect any which have been put in post boxes by the last post tomorrow evening. 160 jobs are being cut at Oldham Council, where town hall chiefs are grappling with a £17 million budget shortfall. The number is well below the 850 jobs first mentioned when the cash shortage was revealed earlier this year. But the council leader, Howard Sykes, says he can't rule out more job losses. And in another money-saving move, council offices will shut for an extra 4 days over Christmas, with staff having to take annual leave, flexi-time or even unpaid holiday. Pressure is being put on energy firms like British Gas to cut bills as soon as possible. The government's urging them to pass on reductions in oil prices, which have now dropped to a third of what they were over the summer. There have been 2 large price rises over the year as wholesale prices rose. The government is now warning that if the cuts are not passed on to customers, it'll pass laws forcing firms to do so. Details of a plan to make it harder to stay at home claiming benefits will be spelt out later. Changes to the system would put more emphasis on people updating their CVs, taking part in training and looking into childcare. The only ones who'd be allowed to carry on as they are would be unemployed parents of very young children, those who are severely disabled and carers. Only this week, the Phalange area of Rochdale was named as the benefits capital of Britain, with the highest proportion of people claiming they're too sick to work. Now, have you brought your Christmas tree yet? If not, you've got a rather big decision to make. Go for a real one or fake it. It's a decision that can make or break the festive season for some people. So we've sent Georgia Calvin-Smith to weigh up the options. And if you ask me, it looks like she's firmly in the real camp.
Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. Your everlasting beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure do you bring me.
You can have a lot of fun with artificial trees. They're convenient, reusable, you can give Christmas a facelift, they're great for offices. But really, where's the magic?
Sometimes when I get a fake tree, I don't feel as, got the Christmas spirit, so to speak. I think the pros for real is it's got a lovely scent. It's got a really nice aroma and it gives that festival smell.
I remember when I was a kid, we always had a fake tree, and I always thought to myself, when I get my own place and my own family, I'm definitely going to have a real tree.
It's part of the build-up towards Christmas, go and pick your tree. But other people might just like the idea, get it out the cellar or wherever and get it out the box, but it's not for us.
Here at Kiwi Nurseries, trees are being lovingly chosen, and getting it right can be crucial.
Some people come in, they want the first tree they see, and other people take 3 or 4 hours. It's either not right here, not right there, too tall, too short, not fat enough, not enough branches, too many needles, not enough needles, won't fit here, won't fit there, won't fit around the furniture. It's amazing how long people take.
Now, there's no denying that an artificial tree can be a lot less hassle than a real tree. You don't have to worry about how you're going to get it home every year, and you don't have to worry about pine needles ending up on your carpet. But for those of us determined to stick with the real tree experience, there are a few simple things you can do to make the whole thing just that little bit easier. And Christian is the man with all the tips. So, Christian, what have you got?
First of all, make sure it's on a good solid base. Blocks, which you can buy at most tree retailers, are fantastic from they're in, they're done, they're up. There's no hassle getting it straight to begin with. But to keep that lush green look, it is always better if you can have a stand where you can put water in. It'll make it so it doesn't lose that nice fresh shine. Also, if it's in a very warm room, just turn the radiators down a couple of degrees, which will help keep it nice and fresh.
Whatever your preference in trees, may you have a genuinely Christmassy Christmas. Georgia Calvin-Smith, Channel M News.
Coming up a bit later in the programme, we'll have news of Santa dropping into Swinton and the latest hopefuls in our Christmas choir competition. For the moment, though, With the day's sport, here's Sam Goodman.
Thank you, Ben. Well, Stockport County's dreams of a money-spinning FA Cup third-round tie against Aston Villa were ended last night as Gillingham beat the Hatters 2-1 at Edgerley Park. But non-league Droylsden lived to fight another day thanks to a 2-2 draw at Chesterfield. The replay will be at the Butcher's Arms next Tuesday night. Manchester United face Aalborg at Old Trafford this evening, knowing victory will see them through to the Champions League knockout stages as the group winners, a fact which hasn't been lost on Sir Alex Ferguson.
Well, I think it's always better to be number one. I think our experience of being second in the groups has not been good over the years. So it's better we win the group. And then we know that we've got the home leg in the second game in the last 16.
And the early team news for this evening is that Cristiano Ronaldo and Michael Carrick look likely to miss the game, and there could be starts for Gary Neville and Ben Foster, while Paul Scholes should be on the bench. Meanwhile, United look set to appeal against a 4-game ban and £15,000 fine given to Patrice Evra for his part in April's Battle of Stamford Bridge. As you can imagine, Sir Alex Ferguson isn't too impressed with the FA.
Well, it was a shock, I must admit. I think of all the things the FA have done to this club over the years, that was one of the big shocks. I couldn't believe it. But we don't know that. Well, we're waiting the written reasons to be delivered to David Gill yet, so we can't really comment what our next step is going to be. But that's the moment. That's where
And keeping with football, Altrincham are up to 13th in the Blue Square Premier League following a 2-2 draw at Barrow last night. Alex Meachin and Colin Little were the scorers for the Robins. In Speedway, the Bellevue Aces are busy preparing for the new season and have just unveiled what we believe will be the first of many new signings.
Sign.
Quick.
Brilliant. Thank you. Excellent.
I'm very happy with this contract because I'm looking the England after my last bad season. I think so. This season is not so good last year because I'm now here in England, and I'm very happy. I want to try make many points and try the best from me to Bellevue Aces club and make many points to this club and qualification next year to GP 2010.
Finally, it's just been announced World Cup winner Josh Lucy has retired from international rugby. The Wasps fullback's last appearance for his country was in last year's World Cup semi-final against France, where he scored the only try for England. But that's all the sport from me for now. Join me again at 5 o'clock. We'll have all the build-up to this evening's Champions League game at Old Trafford.
Thanks, Sam. That's with Andy Crane at 5 o'clock today. Still ahead on the Lunchtime News, more on the double baby murder charge from Manchester Magistrates Court, and we'll be meeting the people who are charting the history of Hattersley from the 1960s and 70s.
We were overcrowded at Wythenshawe. My wife went to see the local councillor if he could help us, and it was the day President Kennedy got shot. So it's something that's up there all the time. She came back. A couple of days later, we got a letter off the corporation saying that we got a house up Hattersley. Where's Hattersley? They said, we go through Hyde. Where's Hyde? I didn't know anywhere up here, but when we came in love, up here, I fell in love with it. And we're still here. And I'm not moving out.
Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. We're here every day between 12 and 1 with all Greater Manchester's headlines. And you can always check out our reports online. That's at channelm.co.uk. On there right now, an Oldham bakery worker tells of his ordeal after getting stuck in a works lift for 13 hours. And people have been telling Nina Warhurst why they've not yet voted in the congestion charge referendum, including the couple who say they don't know anything about it. All that and more at channelm.co.uk. Now, though, children in Manchester as young as 13 are being offered free condoms at school without their parents' knowledge. The council says it's helping reduce the high rate of teenage pregnancies in the city, but critics say it encourages young people to become sexually active. Here's Nina Warhurst.
All non-faith secondary schools in the borough of Manchester have agreed to let nurses hand out contraceptives and talk about sex to children as young as 13. It is, the council says, a practical move to deal with a startling reality. Figures which compare teen pregnancy rates in 1998 and 2006 show a rise from 61.3 in every 1,000 to 67, despite the fact that the council was told to cut that figure by half 10 years ago. So that makes Manchester's rate 50% higher than the English average, but is offering condoms to 13-year-olds the solution.
The council says that each case is judged on an individual basis and that parents were consulted before the scheme was introduced. But parents aren't told if their child has asked for contraception, and in principle, this scheme could be rolled out to children as young as 11 and 12, although evidence of sexual activity at that age would spark an investigation.
These pupils I spoke to in North Manchester said though they weren't sexually active, they knew they could get condoms from family planning clinics and that the availability of them in school wasn't necessary, and parents' response was mixed.
It may make some people who might not have sex at a young age maybe try if they're having access to contraception.
Well, it's probably not a bad idea with some of the girls around here. I know my daughter knows girls that are having sex at that kind of age.
Yeah, it's way too young. Something needs to be done about it.
The kids are on the streets doing it anyway, aren't they? So they don't want them catching diseases.
So you think it's a good idea?
Well, yeah, but not from the age of 13. I think that's a bit inappropriate, isn't it? 13 years of age.
But the council says that it is appropriate and that it's working. They say the latest figures show a fall in the number of teen conceptions, though with an average of 560 a year, there's still a long way to go. Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
Now, a special project charting memories and photographs of people who moved to Hattersley in the 1960s and 70s has come to an end after 3 years of hard work.
We were overcrowded at Wythenshawe. My wife went to see the local councillor if he could help us, and it was the day President Kennedy got shot. So it's something that's up there all the time. She came back. A couple of days later, we got a letter off the corporation saying that we got a house up Hattersley. Where's Hattersley? We said, we go through Hyde. Where's Hyde? I didn't know anywhere up here.
The Mancunian Reunion Project began in December 2005, bringing together the memories of people who moved here in the 1960s and 70s. Hattersley was created to cope with the overspill from Manchester. After the war, 70,000 homes in the city were unfit for human habitation. In 1963, the first of those families moved to start a new life in Hattersley.
When we came in, up here, I fell in love with it, and we're still here. And I'm not moving out.
Hattersley has come on a long way since the 1960s. Since then, it's had its negative coverage, most notably the atrocities carried out by Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. But it's also had its success stories with the likes of the boxer Ricky Hatton. As part of the Mancunian Reunion Project, this book of memories from when people first moved here has been put together. For some, the most vivid memories are of seeing open space and green fields for the first time. For others, the sense of isolation and lack of shops. But their memories will now be kept safe in the archive at the main library in Ashton.
Our children's children will remember these in many, many years to come. And I think it should all be written down and put in the archives, because I think it's a good thing to have all these memories. At first we thought it'll just be a little thing, it'll be over in weeks, months, and it just went on and rolled on, and people were so excited at trying to help us with it. So, yeah, it was very, very good. You know, I just can't... I'm sorry it's finished and done with now. And I just would never, ever leave Hattersley, not even if I won the lottery.
A really great project there. Well done to everybody involved. News of a special RAF visit to Swinton in a moment, but first, British troops are expected to start pulling out of Iraq next March, with a complete withdrawal by June. 4,000 of our personnel are still out there, mainly based at an airbase in Basra. Officials say they're expecting a change in the mission to be announced for early next year because of the significant progress which has now been made. Now, as I mentioned just a moment ago, the RAF dropped into Swinton this morning, and they had a very special person with them, Santa.
Every year Santa pays a visit to the Children's Hospital to take presents to the children who are ill, and this is the nearest landing point for the helicopter to land on our school playing field. So it's a big occasion for all the children. They get really excited about it and they really enjoy looking forward to the helicopter landing and Santa arriving.
There's a lot of mums, dads, boys and girls who are going to have quite a tough Christmas, and so anything the Royal Air Force can do to give them a hand and brighten up their day and obviously help Santa in what is one of his most busiest months, we're very happy to do. So it's good to see the kids here, and we're going to go forward to the Children's Hospital any moment now. I think it's an excellent thing to do, you know, especially given some of the positions that the children in the hospitals find themselves in. That it's a really good thing that we can help spread a little bit of good cheer out to those kids and just brighten up their day a little bit on this cold and frosty day that we've got here in Manchester.
Very good. And staying with the festive theme, it's day 8 of our Christmas choir competition. In a moment, we'll be telling you how you can vote. But first, let's hear from the pupils of Cannon Burrows Primary School in Ashton-under-Lyne, who are performing their Christmas alphabet.
I like my primary school because all the teachers are friendly and I've got lots of friends at school.
I like my school because the teachers are really good and they teach you a lot, but it's fun when they teach you and they're all friendly and I have lots of friends.
Well, a big thank you to everyone from Cannon Burrows, and you can see more of that performance in our evening news from 5 o'clock tonight. If you want to vote for them, you need to text Choir H to 88821. Texts cost 50p plus your normal texting charge. 20p from each goes to charity. The text line closes at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Messages sent after that won't count and may still be charged. You'll be able to vote for them again in our hour-long Christmas choir contest special this weekend, the 13th and 14th of December. The choir with the most votes will win the coveted Christmas choir competition trophy and get to perform live on Channel M. Good luck to everyone who's taking part. Now, it's been a glorious winter's morning, a bit nippy, so let's take a look at what the weather's got in store for the rest of the day now with Michelle Eagleton.
Has been a very cold one out there. This morning there was a lot of frost and ice about, so you did have to be very, very careful if you were heading outdoors. I hope you did wrap up nice and warm because despite the fact that we're going to see a fair bit of sunshine this afternoon, it's still going to stay very, very cold. Top temperatures between 4 and 6 degrees, and there is a little bit of rain later on, but only in Warrington and Macclesfield, and not really too much to worry about. Take you through what happened this morning. There was a bit of cloud around, a lot of wind coming in from the westerly direction, which did cause some of those really cold and icy spells. And then, as I say, this afternoon we are seeing the nicest bit of the weather. Some sun out, but I'm afraid it's not going to bring the heat with it. And then tonight we are going to see a couple of those showers just outburst though, and the next couple of days are a real mixed bag. Tomorrow we're going to see top temperatures of just 1, so very, very cold conditions and a lot of icy cloud. Friday is a bit of sunshine and showers for you. Then Saturday and Sunday, hate to say it, it's going to be a wet weekend.
You're watching Channel M's Lunchtime News. Don't forget to join Andy Crane for the early evening news from 5 o'clock today, when we'll also be telling you why a group of men in Bury are walking a mile in women's shoes this afternoon. That's with Andy Crane from 5. But from me and the rest of the Lunchtime team, have a very good afternoon. Goodbye for now.